This is Dieter Laser. As you know, I hate human beings, and you're listening to WithoutYourHead.com.
All right, we're back here at Without Your Head. This is Nasty Neil Jones, and I'm joined by Dieter Laser. How you doing tonight?
I'm very well. Thank you for having me on your show.
Yeah, it's a real honor to have you here. I'm a big fan of the Human Centipede.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Now, how did you get the role as Dr. Heater in the Human Centipede?
My wife, Inge, who is my manager, she got an email from Six Entertainment, and the director, Tom, wanted to meet Dieter Laser in order to cast him for a leading part as a scientist. First of all, we thought, what a strange name, Six Entertainment. Isn't it a little bit pornographic? But later on, we discovered our gang of four. We all have very funny names, starting with Tom Six, the director, his sister, who's the producer, Ilona Six, and the director of photography, Hoff, they call him, which means the king, and finally, Dieter Laser, like a laser beam on a diet. Anyway, on a beautiful Sunday morning, I went to the Hilton Hotel in Berlin. Berlin is where I'm living. And to meet Tom and Ilona, the producer and the director. And I chose a very elegant suit with a crisp white shirt and a dark tie. And I thought, I want to make an appearance and impression of a famous scientist. Mm-hmm. So, and anyway, I thought, there I will see maybe 100 of my fellow German actors. But when I entered the lobby of the hotel, it was pretty empty, and both guys were sitting there. And Ilona told me, we flew over from Amsterdam in the Netherlands to meet you and only you, because Tom badly wants you for the lead in his new film. And I thought, gosh, this guy must have a beautiful taste, splendid taste, to only choose Dieter. And I said to myself, Dieter, my friend, be careful, watch out, listen carefully, don't spoil anything. Mm-hmm. And then Tom told me the whole picture in the real time of the film, about 90 minutes, and he was so detailed, and every single shot regarding Dr. Heiter, he described in such an exciting way, and he has the ability to convey his vision and to turn on actors. So after that 90 minutes, I was so excited, I said, Tom, you are dedicated. You have passion. You are even obsessed. I love that. Let's do it. Mm-hmm. And then Ilona said, "Oh yeah, then we will. Let's have a deal." And 3 minutes later, we had a sound deal, and by a handshake. Mm-hmm. So I went home to my wife and said, Inge, I have a leading part. What a beautiful Sunday. I have a fair deal. So what? Beautiful day. Then a week later, the script came. And then I started to become afraid. I thought, oh, my dear friend Dieter, what shall your fellow actors in the theater think about you? They will say you are a pervert. They will think you are a disgusting guy. And what would the bigots among the German critics say about you? Oh, it's dangerous. It's embarrassing. But then I had a strong discussion with myself, and I said, Dieter, sweetheart, if this part would have been called Dr. Hannibal Lecter instead of Dr. Heiter, wouldn't you, and no famous names involved, wouldn't you react in a similar way? So sit down on your beautiful ass and start working on the character. And just read 100 times the script. Your fantasy is strong enough to create a unique and strong character. And so I started to work on it.
Yeah.
And then I slowly discovered the beautiful possibility to make a dark-humored, black-humored parody about Nazi ideology. Mm-hmm. These guys regarded Jews, homosexuals, communists, gypsies as subhumans, as insects like poisonous centipedes, like rats, bugs, in one word, as vermin. Mm-hmm. So I said to myself, that's wonderful to describe the psyche of these guys. There have been Nazi doctors, you wouldn't believe it, they really thought that communism should be or is, in their mind, is a genetic disorder. Mm-hmm. It's unbelievably silly. And I developed lots of fun to kick these ancestors of me, from me, into the balls as hard as possible, metaphorically spoken. Mm-hmm. And then I started really to have fun with the part.
When you said that Tom, he described every scene, how much of the Doctor did he describe to you, and how much of it did you come up with yourself? Afterwards, it's hard to tell who had which idea, because it's a mix of both. And I started with that. I discovered that Nazi possibility in the script, which is just deeply under the surface, because the main surface, the popcorn level, has to be just horror entertainment. Mm-hmm. But underneath, I filled it up with all that Nazi psyche stuff to give the character some weight, so that after 90 minutes in the cinema, it lasts a little bit longer than just 90 minutes. So maybe the next day, the the character shows up again in your mind, and just to activate your gut feelings about these complex, because the surface has to be pure entertainment. So I started to say, okay, I want to have an historical, exact and correct doctor's code out of that time. And I had a hard job to find this coat, because it's hardly to find anymore on the market. But I discovered a little company who still produces this original cut from the 1930s. And I brought it over. I brought the whole costume of the part. I brought in to Amsterdam just to be on the safe side. And Tom, there was prepared a whole set of costumes, but Tom loved everything I brought in. The boots, the doctor's coat, and every suit I took privately with me, because I said that fits and that will serve for the part. And he put in his ideas, I put in my ideas, and he has the strong ability to be very, very precise. On the other hand, he gives the actor a lot of freedom. Mm-hmm. So you feel safe and guarded, but on the other hand, you are free to improvise and to swim around with your character. Yeah. Now, for the Nazi stuff, was that a lot of that stuff you already knew about, or did you have to do some research?
As a German, mm-hmm. and with that criminal father's generation behind me, mm-hmm. I had all my life I had a guilt feeling, and when I didn't get a coffee in Great Britain or in the Netherlands when I was a teenager, I said to myself, they are right. You are a German. Your father's generation are murderers. Even though my father was killed in a special unit because he didn't raise his arms for the Hitler salute, but that didn't matter for that guilt feeling, because in Germany that was under the carpet over years, and therefore the revolution came in '68 because the young people couldn't take it anymore. That everything was hidden and it wasn't spoken about it. In school you never heard anything about it. And therefore I always had a strong interest. So I didn't have to research, because all my youth and all my life I was involved in that guilt chapters of German history. And so I knew slowly, by developing, by coming into age, I developed a lot of knowledge about that. So I didn't have to research anything. I just created everything out of what I in a way genetically knew, and what my fantasy about that developed.
What was the response like in Germany for the movie and for your role?
It's very interesting. In Germany, it hasn't been released yet.
Oh, okay. Because
they are very, very afraid about it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it still is a taboo in a kind of way. And most films, German films, show things from Nazi time and Nazi stuff. Mm-hmm. They always have that premise, we poor Germans, what we had to suffer.
Mm-hmm.
And they very seldom go really to the core of evil, because they say, oh, we had to suffer with the bombs. The Americans gave us freedom, gave us peace. They released us. They made us free. They freed us from the Hitler regime. But in Germany, the tendency is always there was a demonic, evil person like Hitler and a couple of guys around him, his entourage, and the poor nation had to suffer under it. But my opinion is the contrary. I say a whole nation was blindfolded and participated in the crimes of that regime.
Mm-hmm.
And if you show something about that stuff, which in a really hard way, then they are very afraid to show.